We're here for a workshop to discuss the sheriff's budgets for fiscal year 23-24. Little typo on our sheet right there. And I will start off with the clerk.
So the sheriff and the sheriff met with me last week to go over the budget, make some tweaks. Last year we created the justice fund from the three sheriff budgets that were in current expense. We moved them out. So that is the sheriff's budget, the safety building budget, and the jail. We did not move the 911 because it's already its own budget. So then we also included public defense, which was part of the indigent defense fund. And since that is no longer leviable, we had to move that out. So we included it with the justice fund because it really sort of all plays together. And that will go away at the end of 2024. It'll be taken over by the state. So it's just kind of a temporary holding place. So we did some calculating, worked with our auditors and figured out how much revenue to move to get the justice fund through the first year while we're figuring out the taxes and whatever revenue streams we could get them to be whole through the year. And we did an okay job. We had one that was and we moved money from our cash and from indigent and from current expense to cover those items. So the first sheet that you have is the budget worksheet on revenue. And as with any time you create a new fund, you're going to be working through it the next couple of years, just fine tuning where you've got money coming and money going. So with that said, we don't budget anything for taxes as normal. We did split payment in lieu of taxes, sales tax revenue. We split as it comes in this year. Sales tax revenue sharing, liquor apportionment, payment in lieu of taxes, property tax replacement, interest income are the ones that are split. And so current expense gets 53 point something%, and the justice fund gets 46 point something, and that was a direct relationship to how much they were getting from current expense.
Now, was that on,
Using out of current expense, I should say, as well as expense.
was that payment in lieu of tax? Is that the percentage that you just said?
Yeah, that's what's shown there. That's their cut.
Their
So
cut.
anything shown on here is their cut of what we split out.
Okay.
And then I added in their revenue that is truly just their revenue. So they would have things like sheriff and jail fees, youth risk plates, driver's license reinstatement, concealed weapon licenses, special ID card, wrecking license, driver chauffeur license, drug force revenue, forest patrolling, board of prisoners, which I have since changed to read meal. No, wait, that's not the right one. Oh, that's not the right one. Another one I did. Oh, yeah. Which one was that? I changed on there.
That was actually in the budget itself.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. So on the income side, we're okay. And then the refunds, sheriff agreement, there's your medical reimbursement, sex offender registry, public defense.
What is
income.
public defense income?
Public defense income is what supports our public defense budget. Yeah.
What's the sheriff's agreement and refunds?
That one is where they have agreements to provide services to the city.
Okay.
We have a list of them somewhere here.
The refunds is something else.
Refunds is where you're looking at. You mean just a refund line item?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they get refunds on different things.
Okay.
It's a small one, that's why it's not called out. Sheriff, you could probably And then if I can
You
find it.
probably have agreement with Pinehurst or not, or Smelterville and then.
Right, right. So
Wallace and-
City of Wallace, Smelterville, Mullen, Wardner. Then, yeah, those are the ones that make up the 199,000.
Yeah, Wallace, Smelterville, Mullen, Wardner, Forest Service, BLM, the Kellogg School District. Driver's license fees, concealed weapons fees, sex offenders, sheriff's fees, and, we get reimbursed from the cities for our RMS program that we use. So they pay a fee.
Okay.
Every year.
Okay, thank you.
So those are the revenue items.
Okay.
Any other questions on those? And then, but what the split is, current expense gets 53.24% and joint justice fund gets 46.76%. And that's only, that doesn't include post public defense. That's still the number. Okay. So onto the expense side. The first one is sheriff is 19.1 is the sheriff fund. So it directly correlates to what they had in their budget plus some items or minus some items in everything from when it was part of current stuff. So we have the elected official, all of their salaries are currently at a 5%.
Why is mine blank?
For the approved amount, budget offers.
For the department request and the approved is all blank.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, mine as
And if
well.
you just didn't check the box and you just printed them out, I can have some other ones made if you want. I can tell you what they are, either way. Want some new ones, maybe, would you mind?
Whatever is the easiest. But yeah, I have no information for the new budget.
Yeah, copies, we can do copies later. If you want to just, what do
I
you
can
think?
tell you, because it's gonna be
Subtotals?
all of them probably then.
Yeah, they're all
the
blank,
same
everything.
file. Okay, I'll just tell you that. Then we can get you print out that.
Yeah. Do you want just the total salaries, Dave, or do you want to go through?
Then go through each one.
Okay.
So salary elected official, this last year was 86,970, which you do have. Department request was 91,208. And mine was 91,208. That's true, 5%. The deputy, it was 258,000 last year. This year it's 248,552, and it's the same in both columns. The deputy is, was 1,188,315, and it's now 1,317,107. And it's the same on both. Dispatch was 272,310. And it's now 342,519. The reserve officer was 147,680 and is now 75,680. And the reason for that decrease is that Sean was being paid, or I'm sorry, Matt was being paid out of reserve officer and should not have been. No, not right. Pretty sure that's the one.
Yeah,
Because one of, I had to move Matt and I had to move, Sean. They were being paid out of their own place. Okay, so
or was it Sean that was getting paid out?
Sean was getting paid out of, deputies,
In the jail.
right? And he is, I created a separate, complete separate line item for him, courthouse security, which is right below that,
Which is where?
right below. So you have reserve officer and then you have courthouse security. So I
Oh,
took him out of deputies
It's
because.
just not on our copies.
Yeah, just the overtime next one.
So we don't have any of that information.
That is very strange. She just printed that out.
I've got this one that, you gave us last week. You want
Yeah, that's the same as this.
to make a
That's the
copy
same
of
as
that?
mine. I just had her print it in. So I'll just, reload me a copy of that then, so we can see that. That's really strange for that, didn't it? Okay. So we'll do that and do these because now I'm not confident the others. One thing.
Yeah, this is just older information, it looks like.
But it was just printed today, which is concerning. We're gonna have to go back and look through that. Probably just those, we may want to talk about public business. And make it on the two side. Two copies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the trick. Sorry about that.
That's
It's a
okay.
Monday.
It's a Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday.
So we can still talk about, what some of the changes would be.
Uh-huh.
So,
So Sean is his own line item.
his own line item now, because it truly isn't a deputy paid separately, and he was being charged under deputy, and Mac was part of jail, I think. Even that. He was part of jail. Mhm. Oh, yeah, no, he was part of sheriff too. So Max was being paid as a salary reserve officer. I moved him to safety building because that's where he belongs. He's the janitor over there, or custodian head. So I moved him out, so that took you from the 147 down to the 150, or 75, 600. Sean was 41,941. I just broke him out of salary deputy and put him in his own line and sell him to the sheriff. That's where he belongs.
And his total now, Sean's
41,941. And that's 5% for each of them compared to what they were being paid before. But lines them up to where they should be. And then, so we went down, we did increase overtime and holidays works based on short staffing and how much, they requested for that. So we were already, as you can see, over budget on the overtime one. The holiday one, we're running over budget as well.
So what are the new amounts for those two? I'm sorry.
53,000.
$53,000, and the next one is holiday.
Yeah, on holidays, I think we did, I think they don't have any. Got my time.
Oh, yeah, she took yours too.
Took mine, so just give me a second.
That's
because
okay.
I did what, it's 32.5. For the holiday. And that's what was requested. So they're both increased, I have letters for both. And those increases from the sheriff. From why,
Is, so on the sheet here, it says holiday worked, requested amount 34,125, and then
And it was 32.
32.
Okay. That was, but I think. In the levy and 32.5. Going from 27,514. An increase of 4,000.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That is
They
the
were
copy
both
you're
off
working on,
in
blank.
Original is blank and the other one's blank, yeah.
So she's making new copies
So,
for
okay, so I
everybody.
just thought I'd just see if you had the same thing we did.
Yeah, I made them all at the same time. I just had it printed.
Well, Matt had a blank
Mine's a lot
look.
slower printer.
Oh, Matt, you had a blank look, so I assumed you had a blank sheet.
I'll be here in a minute. I'll just wait. The only other one up there is the compensated absence. That says what it was. To tell anybody that has comp time and leave, you have to pay it out at today's rate.
So is the sheriff the biggest budget?
If you include everything, be a close run with roads. But yeah. But if you combine them all, yeah, it'd be the biggest because you have road safety building, jail, and public defense.
They get the biggest of the property taxes, right? It's property tax only.
No, current expenses. Current expense is large because that's got all of the funds in it
Everything.
that,
Okay.
yeah, the auditor, the treasurer, the assessor, prosecutor. There's a ton of things.
Thank you, Sydney.
Thank you very much.
You're ready to go the bottom.
There you go. These are the others.
These are gonna be more fun.
Make it a little easier just to have the numbers.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I've been, wait, find out if it, oops, the computer erased.
2 jails, 2 bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's that.
I got all paid students, if anybody needs them.
Yeah, these are all out of order here.
Oh, they are? Two,
Yeah,
one,
I'll trade what they do for free.
I'll trade twos for threes. Go fish.
I need it free.
I've got all threes.
one, and those are one.
There's
Oh, those are-
Jail, jail.
Yeah. There's one.
There's a sheriff budget.
There's one.
Those are mine.
Oh.
Justice fund sheriff.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was-
Justice fund sheriff. So now, Jeff, what are you missing? I have jail and sheriff.
I got jail and sheriff as well.
I got a public,
You got public defense.
one.
Yeah, it's in the back. I think we have,
That's a small budget. Well, not a small budget,
you have that.
not many of them.
It's, under, behind jail, all the way to the end.
Public defense is on the end of there.
Yep.
Okay.
The only one I'm missing is number 2. You got an extra one?
Jail, boy. Sheriff. I don't have a
One,
number.
2, 3, and 4 budget.
I don't have a two.
No, you don't have a 2 on what number?
Yeah, hold on, right?
I have 1, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Matt, you got any more twos?
No,
So we need to make it two,
I
is
have,
that what I'm hearing?
do you have any twos?
I don't have 2s, I just have
We're
1 and 3.
too short on two,
So you don't have
whatever two is.
safety building or we need another.
Oh, this one might, there
four?
might be a couple budgets in here. Yeah, the way it's printed front and back flipped over, it's, super confusing. All right, yeah, 2 is 1 page, so. There we go. 2. That's
Oh,
2.
man, you have a. You have to go fish with us.
That's 2. Yep, That's I got 2. it. Perfect, thank you.
So now everybody has all four.
I believe so.
Double copy, sometimes saving pictures is a good idea. Okay, so, anyway, now you've got all your numbers there. So back down where the same, the field deputies were, we took max out of there. They did have an increase on them. When we moved him down to, or took him out of reserve with max. Sean was moved out of deputy report security.
Sean's maintenance manager now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not Sean, but,
Max.
Max, yeah.
And he's in the safety budget. not in this budget.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
So all the increases going on here are the 5%.
Correct, 5% are merit, and they have one open position, right? Open position in office deputy,
Yep, that's the new position.
and we have an open in sheriff. Would that be, Jack? Or no?
Probably at the time we did it, we didn't have it
Yeah.
hired. Yeah, we just
It sounds-
I
hired.
I have him, but I have nothing there, so. We just reserved his salary, I'm not sure who that is.
I think that was the new deputy we just hired last month.
Okay. And then we have one open in office deputy. We're gonna move on, and then there's benefits that, there's. Sorry for anyone there. We don't have part-time people other than reserve officers, which don't get benefits. Correct. So, then we go down to travel, we cut all of the budgets pretty much where they were. We added 5,000 to vehicle maintenance because we're already at 90%. We're 80% through the year. We upped copier rental, and that is, because that's what reflects through what their copier costs for, and they're still under lease.
They're still under lease.
RMS maintenance, we increased, and that is because we're over on that. And that is, Zach is in there, and Computer Arts is in there, and
Let me ask on the copier rentals, if you're under a lease, did the lease payment change?
No.
no, it's just wrong.
So,
They got a new copier this year, so last year's budget
Was wrong.
didn't, right.
Okay.
Digested it.
Are you aware that we're all trying to move towards purchase on copiers?
yeah, I am.
We have
Now.
Rose, Rose and Sheriff, and there's one other one that will remain under lease because their lease term is not. The rest of them, the reason we didn't is because the lease term ends in January.
Right.
So we can't do anything with those until their lease is up.
So the plan moving forward with that is to purchase our own and just.
Right, and then just pay a maintenance fee, which,
Looks like it's
for all the others is
Cheaper.
it's $1,250 to $2,500 depending on if it's color or not. You guys have color, right? So. Teletype we went down because we're so far down, but we still have to have it. We went down on uniforms and badges because we hadn't spent a lot on that, and we had some really good comparisons for when the sheriff's budgets were in current expense. We went up on training, employees new training and higher costs. Weapons and ammunition we went up, even though they're down, they'll be buying in before the end of the year to use up what they have. But ammunition increased quite a lot as well. And we went up on investigations because they're doing a whole lot more of those lately. And we went up on drug task force. Continuing development, we went down. That's some things that Zach does there. That DJ does here. Equipment, we went up, we're already over, on our equipment side, so. We talked about that.
And what's the equipment?
The equipment is, anytime we, purchase radios, any type of equipment for the vehicles. Pretty much everything that we use for
Okay.
patrol, essentially.
Okay, so it's not, that doesn't have anything, guns and everything out or
Not
weapons and ammunition, so that equipment's just
So you're probably gonna have more because you've got quite a few police cars coming up.
And I think we're getting reimbursed, so that hasn't gone through yet, the reimbursement for the vests. Is that, you know, if
It
that's
hasn't
gone through yet?
come back yet.
I don't think that's gone through there, though. If it's a grant, it would go through a grant. So this is the equipment one I had back in 2025. And a lot of them, for me, it's hard to tell what they are because they come, all it has is the vendor names. I don't really know what the individual items are without going into each one of them, and I don't have that here, but we did do that when we went through ours.
Then you went up on search and rescue. Are you guys starting the search and rescue?
That is the long-term plan.
Okay.
Basically what we're gonna try and shoot for this year is to try and slowly start raising the amount in there so that we can actually purchase, like winter boots, like actual clothing to be able to have these guys and gals be safe essentially, because
Okay.
as it is right now, they have to buy their own equipment and use it. And one of our last search and rescue events that we had, one of our guys almost got frostbite on his
Okay.
toes just because we can't, we don't have enough money to purchase boots. And then it's kind of delicate in the sense that when we do, or if we do buy equipment for them to wear for winter, that deputy may leave and you can't really
That's right.
reuse them. And it's pretty tough. So
Well, if you think about search and rescue, there's a ton of equipment involved. We have
we're-
four-wheelers, snowmobiles, side-by-side, so any maintenance of those, any
Now, do you
getting the
guys,
tracks off and
you
on
guys
and
are
all
doing
that.
your own search and rescue? You're not going out to the public and
We-
asking for them, or do you?
We run the search and rescue,
Okay.
and then we have the volunteers as well, but the sheriff's office is in charge of the search and rescue, so
Okay.
we have to have our own equipment. I mean, 95% of them, we just handle ourselves. They're normally just a person that's
Yeah.
stuck up on the hill somewhere or something, and we just walk up and get them, or
We do utilize the Silver Valley Search and Rescue team. Just it's, with everybody working and sometimes it's just hard to get volunteers to come out, but long-term, we are gonna try and put together like a team that is out of our office so that we can ensure that they have, proper training, CPR and just the basic things like that.
Okay.
Not a huge team, but just,
Yeah.
because a lot of the
Core
citizens, a lot of citizens have specialties, some of them may have horses or some of them may, know how to ride a snowcat or something. They're really good at it. And we have a list of people that we can contact and say, hey, we have a pretty serious situation. Can you help us out on it? And, they're not really part of our team, but
Okay.
long-term, it's just try and get a team together. Though.
Yeah.
And they've also had like the Vista Utilities monthly, you pay Vista Utilities for power, and then you have Garmin USA and some small expenses out of it, Chevrolet Honda.
So on the bottom line for the justice fund, this is their one. I see where the sheriff is 3,675,000, but the budget officer is 3,854,000. What was the main drive in that increase after you guys met? Just some numbers were wrong or
We moved people around,
moved people around?
and that in fact, affects your budgets, and then we had,
I think some of it was where we were at when we tried to do up the sheets initially, and then where the expenses were actually hitting throughout the year. Changed a lot over 3-4 months, so.
We moved quite a few things.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a $400,000 increase. That's why I was noticing.
Our message was big.
from what we requested to what,
Well, from last year
Oh,
to this year,
yeah.
that's about 400,
From from this year to next year.
from this
Yeah.
year to next year.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
questions on justice, then. There,
I don't think so at this time.
A lot of that's in the benefits and the pay and everything else that,
Yeah, the benefits is driving a good chunk. A really big chunk.
And we did put that position in for the front office staff.
Yeah, but
Yes.
you did like I asked and you reduced the reserve some, so I appreciate the give and take.
And then on two, you're gonna see an increase as well, because that's when I put now. There's a new line item for maintenance manager, and there's one for janitors. Janitors are 5%, and then Max was 5% as well, but he moved from sheriff, so that added 50,000 to practically, then he included benefits, it's even more than that. We can look down there, went from 121 budget of last year to 215 this year. And that, the big things in that were our wages and benefits. And a little bit more for heat to make it realistic, because they were over on the heat, which hopefully with their new chiller equipment and stuff,
Mhm.
that will improve, but we don't know that. I can only go off what the budget was last year. So I was also told water would go down, but, yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. I didn't. So the rest of them pretty much stayed where they were.
On the janitors, so do you have other janitors over there besides Max?
We have the part-time,
Cleaning.
cleaning. gal.
And Max manages them?
No, we have it set up now. It's a person who works part-time in the kitchen and then part-time cleaning. So,
Okay.
but they're actually full-time with the combined hours.
Gotcha.
So the, jail commander oversees them.
So are you still calling Max a manager, or is he managing anyone?
No.
I
No,
can change the title of it.
yeah,
Not a big deal. What would you like it to say?
No, I was just confused because I thought maybe he was managing these janitors,
No, he's just,
When he was over here, he did.
but we removed that responsibility, yeah. So he's no longer managing.
yeah.
So you
It
just
could
wanna
just say
say
maintenance.
Maintenance?
You could just say maintenance.
It's not a big deal.
Safety building.
So
RMS maintenance, what was? That,
That's in the sheriff's budget.
oh, I'm sorry, no, it's RMS maintenance in the jail budget.
Oh, we're in the jail, or
Oh, you went to jail.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to jail yet.
Oh, you didn't go, we're still sheriff?
don't say it.
We're on the safety building.
Don't say it that way to me. I haven't gone to jail yet.
Sorry,
I didn't get into jail back either.
safety building.
Yeah, I'm stolen.
so,
I just started going way ahead.
I'm stolen, where's that? Okay, well, when you stop. Okay, so on the jail,
We can get to that later, or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go ahead of that. so.
that's okay. On the jail, we went up for jailers and an open position in jail. And so we didn't really have anything different on the jailers. The jail administrator, that was 5% increase.
Is the second line jailers,
Jailers,
is that just the 5%? That's pretty big.
yeah, I think, yeah.
550 to 680. Seems like more than 5%.
When we figured our numbers, we did it with anticipating longevity raises for each
Which
person we had and all that. on the
Right.
Worksheet, so.
Which is correct, yeah. That's good.
Can we get copies of those worksheets? Is that gonna come out when we get when we,
Copies of what worksheets?
all the, employees' worksheets, so when we get our,
No, if you want them, you could have them, but normally you don't get them. Cause they're not broken down. I mean, I have one, not for all departments, that, you know, we do have one of these for all departments, and that
Mhm.
figures out what their benefits are, but that doesn't break it down by employee. And then I have this one that I get from the sheriff's office originally, that breaks down who it is, how much they're making, how much the 5% is. But I mark that up with changes that I see need to be made.
okay,
So if you want my chicken scratch, I can give you that one. But I
yeah,
get it
or the sheriff
electronically.
has them, right?
I do. She made changes on some of them
I
because
did.
some of the
Okay.
calculations weren't correct, but I can.
And then I have the
Yeah, you can do
spreadsheet that
that.
I build, that I use for my personal figuring what everything is, and that has everybody on it, what they're making today, what 5% is, are they only getting 5% or not?
Okay,
Have that one.
yeah, would you
I
mind?
can give you that one. Do
Okay.
you want it just for the sheriff departments? I did not build it for every department. It's
Okay,
so
sheriff's
small, I
department,
didn't
yeah,
build
that's
that one,
fine.
But.
Yeah,
the big
appreciate
ones I did.
So I think my question on the jailers one is, there's an extra 100,000 there after you do the 5%.
Okay, so this is when I got, you can look at it from the sheriff.
So I'm just wondering if that's steps
And
or,
if you're going from what last year's was on the jailers to this year's.
yeah, I just took the jailer line and said 554 times 5%.
I'd have to pull what they're doing today and look at my sheet to tell you what that is. It could have been that they had some errors when they did it last year. They might have added people. I'm not sure. They're at 78%, so it's
Tracking pretty.
tracking.
So why the extra 100,000?
I would have to look that up. Cause I don't have that in my notes here. I didn't put that. Oh, wait, maybe I did. Maybe I did. Yeah.
That I'd love to find an extra 100,000 somewhere that we didn't need. But,
Mhm.
I don't understand.
Could that have been from the extra position that was given to
It
us?
would be part of it, but, don't normally print it out.
What you call it. Get one for the jail.
Yeah, I didn't give you that, did I?
Yeah, right there.
Shoot. I'm gonna print it out. So I don't put that one in here. All I have is this
You
one.
just filled this one.
Okay, I have a feeling you might know it. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm wrong. So I'll have to get back to you.
Yeah, I think one of the main reasons was that what is budgeted wouldn't technically have covered if we had full staffing. We're tracking at 78%, even though we were down 2 positions for like 6 months.
Mhm.
So,
And that could very well be. Go by what was on last year.
yeah,
Go by what's been paid this year. And what each person is making, and make sure that they're not going over 5%, or if they are, is it a longevity raise? Cause that's very common.
mhm. Yeah, and here we have
And
the,
every 5 years after that.
Are we down 2 jailers right now?
we'll be down more than that soon.
We only have one right now, right? On here as open.
Yeah, we'll
But
be,
the total is
We
the
filled
same,
that one.
right?
yeah, the total amount's the same, but we're just losing some people.
like on the cooks, it looks like if you look at the cooks, their starting rate was 49,640 and their ending is 50,000. But if you do 5%, it'd be 52,000. Or did we take? So it looks like the cooks didn't get the 5% raise.
They did, but they changed. So they're, as people come in, they don't all make the same amount of money the person left
Yeah,
it.
we hired a
okay.
new.
So you get somebody new and they get less hours. Like last year, I think Gail got
Okay, so
quite a bit more hours than she did this year, right? This year in the budget, she's like 96 hours or something.
yeah,
Okay.
But last year she had quite a few more hours. So it just depends on if people are coming and going, which they do in those roles. And then we also tweaked it's Sarah that does
She
cleaning
did
and
cleaning and
cook.
cooking, and then she resigned. And so we hired a new gal.
Yeah, so that, those hours split difference too, when they're doing different jobs. One's out of one budget, one's out of another budget,
kind of like Dan.
kinda, yeah.
Okay.
And then they come in at a lower rate, hopefully, when they come in.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think the
And
only
then you
one
also have the benefits piece of it. Somebody might be hired, might be working as a single rate and you hire somebody and they come in a family and you didn't budget for it.
Exactly.
That's why all open positions will budget for family.
Mm-hmm.
the others make sense to me. The jailer one, I think I just need a little more help from the sheriff. If you
You
guys
want-
can figure it out over
You want to show him,
how we got to $100,000 extra.
show him our initial breakdown of everybody's projected salary next year?
That's that same one I was just talking about.
Yep.
But there's changes to that too, because your reserve changed, your deputies changed.
Here's the breakdown. I don't know if that'll help.
I just trying to figure out why it's so far different than last year's, even though we were tracking at 78%.
Well, I think the year before, since then, we added a position that wasn't in the budget initially.
Under jailers.
We got one.
We got 2 patrol and 1 jail, I think.
When did those add?
Probably would have been
last
a
year.
year ago or
Yeah.
so.
Last year's budget process.
But they just maybe didn't budget.
I don't think it was, might not have been budgeted initially.
I see where these numbers come from. I think it was just the huge change that caught my attention.
And I'll send you guys a copy of it.
So if in fact we were in error
I have
last,
it and I'll send them my spreadsheet that I showed you guys.
Okay.
thank you.
And it says what kind of insurance they have and everything in their pursuit. And pursuit also went up this year, so that's gonna affect everybody too. On the sheriff's fund. And down under our regular expenses for the jail, we went down on travel because they haven't done any. Office supplies, we went down because they're not budgeting a lot of that. But you will notice in this particular budget, we have office supplies, miscellaneous supplies, and then other jail expenses, which are all supplies. They're just not broken down into the right categories all the time. They haven't been being coded correctly to hit the right one of those items, because they're really not specific. So that's one thing we had a good conversation about. So if it's office supplies, it should be pens and pencils and paper and stuff like that. If it's miscellaneous supplies, it probably needs to have the name changed to exactly what those miscellaneous supplies are.
Okay.
So it could be, gosh, they had like hand sanitizers, toilet paper, things that they go through a ton of in the jail. So it could be more jail related items like that. And then they have other jail expenses, which I also found toilet paper and different things like that. So Holly and Lance and I talked about really in the next budget, you're defining what those individual ones really ought to be. So if it's supporting the inmates, it should be maybe inmate supplies. If it's supporting,
Yeah.
Jailers.
you know, kind of really define it, because the way it is right now, it's very difficult to track. Okay, I buy, 7 cases of 90 toilet papers every month. And maybe it's like, well, are they all going to the jail, or are you using those as office supplies in the jail? Cause there is a difference.
Yeah,
As your population goes up in the jail, you're gonna have more
Yeah.
supplies, right? So we discussed looking through that closer and for next year, kind of fine tune those because there's a whole lot in which I raised, $9,000 in other jail expenses.
Okay.
And I went, only up 1,000 in miscellaneous and office supplies, I went down. So, I mean, they're all ordered through, well, not all. A great deal of the things are ordered through specific companies, like the Walter something.
Yeah.
He does all the
Well,
toilet paper and sanitizers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the jail budget definitely isn't broke down well enough. I mean, we just got a bid to fix our dryer. It's about $1,000.
Okay, so that would go under equipment maintenance,
Mm-hmm.
right? 492, which has nothing in it right now. But we have maintenance that, isn't tracking bad. I mean, it's 55%. It could, but that would be equipment maintenance. Maintenance in the other area, in my interpretation, would be something in the building or something, I don't know.
Yep.
But then that could also easily go into safety building. If you have a water break, it should go into safety building. So it just needs more detail.
I agree.
And, so the one I did change, the one that says inmate food used to say board of prisoners. Didn't tell me what that was for. So we changed it to inmate food because that's basically what it is. So that level of detail, and the prior sheriff did not want to go to that. So it just wasn't. So now we're working together.
Didn't want to go to what?
Didn't want to go into breaking these things
Oh,
down into
yeah.
more
I
specific
just want to
areas.
easier to,
So we can really see where it goes, and when people are coding them, they can look at it and go, oh yeah, that should go there,
Yeah.
but, because it should be pretty self-explanatory. What they are. So, okay, then we have, governance maintenance, we went down on that one because we went up in the sheriff's side. Because there's 3 different areas, 4 really, because you also have the dispatch area in one
civil,
budget.
civil
So-
dispatch, jail, patrol.
Yeah, so this is just that one.
Which is another thing that we talked about that we need to tighten up is making sure that the RMS maintenance is getting taken out of the proper budget.
Okay, and the RMS maintenance is what? again?
It's our, like our report writing system.
Oh, yeah, the new thing you got.
Yeah, because each department uses it. And so if we get maintenance done on it, we need to make sure that it's coming from the proper budget instead of just taking it out of the sheriff's budget or just taking it out of the jail budget so that we can track what we're actually spending.
Yeah, because there's like there's a CAD piece of that, there's
Well,
the computer arts.
I think
piece
where
of
the
that.
issue comes into is that there's a lot of maintenance done that is for all departments
Right,
on RMS. It's when something goes wrong with RMS, it affects all departments.
You should
So a
be
lot of
splitting
times it
out.
gets split down 3 ways, and that's what happens a lot.
yeah.
Is the jail mental hold going up because we're just seeing more of them?
Yes, our
Yes.
And the cost has actually gone up too by providers, and we saw that in the district court and, public defense budgets as well. Well, public defense, not, but that's how we get them.
Yeah, more and more every
More
year.
and more.
well,
Yep.
jail mental hold is technically the security company, transport company. And pretty much what it's turned into is they're doing the work of about, over half a deputy probably in transports for us and guarding. So we've had a ton of inmates at the hospital and then a ton of transports to the mental health facilities.
Sometimes they're quite a ways away.
Yeah.
Lewiston.
Well, yeah, at one time we had 6 prisoners in state hospital north, so
Oh, wow.
we've had a ton this year.
Yeah, that just
This
keeps
budget.
going up.
Now, you have a sheriff labor program. You didn't use it this year. Are you guys planning on?
Yeah, we're actually doing some projects right now with
Okay.
I have Cliff getting paint and stuff, we're gonna paint the bus, and then normally that's one of those I just kind of wait till the end of the year, and
Yeah.
I'll buy a bunch of garbage bags and orange vests and gloves, and so that's normally what we end up doing.
Okay, good.
Has anybody ever done any looking into like how many dollars worth of service the sheriff's labor provides in a year?
Never have.
No.
Probably quite a bit in litter pickup alone.
I think it'd just be good PR for the public to
Yeah.
see that what we're getting for $2,000 in
Mhm.
supplies.
Yeah,
No,
that's a good idea.
capital expenditures, what do we got on that one? We've got 25,000, is that just,
Usually that's put there in case something big comes up or breaks
okay,
in the jail.
well, you're probably gonna see a furnace or.
Yeah, it could possibly, be
One
part of the
of those
elevators. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Did you get that one online too, or is one still down?
Still down, I think.
Okay.
Is it any more tolerable over there?
It is
weather-wise?
quite a bit better as far as heat. Yeah,
It's
of being
amazing.
cool.
Is the humidity down in the jail? Like,
It's still a little bit, but it's better.
a lot better?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's better.
It all makes sense, until you see the bottom line and you try to figure out where you're gonna get an extra $200,000 or $300,000 to
Mhm.
cover all these increases, but I understand the increases. Crime does not pay, it costs.
Yes, for sure.
Yep.
You don't get reimbursed for 95%.
No.
I don't have any further questions at this
No,
time.
I don't either.
And then the public defense is the last one. They're not part of the sheriff's, but it is the justice fund. So that one, you'll see, increases in designated mental exams as well. And, our public defender contract, conflict attorney, and then, travel reimbursement. So the biggest jump on that one is the $50,000 for the murder trial.
Okay,
Mhm.
I see that one.
And I didn't budget, I didn't know what to budget for public defender contract. They're gonna go up or they're not. I wasn't given that information, so I don't know.
Once again, crime costs.
Yeah.
But it does.
Luckily, this one will go away next year.
The public defense.
Yep.
Portions.
State takes over public defense next year.
Oh, they do.
Okay.
To include murder,
Everything.
everything.
We take over all public defense. Not saying that we won't have expenses for it, because it's all of our district court. And anything that, like district court's budget has a ton of examinations, mental examinations in it, and they've gone up potentially as well. And I do have that one. That one, you know. Anything court related is really gone up. So there's, professional services. We had 20,000 last year and we have 31,000 this year. We're at 209% already over last year's budget.
Under professional services.
So is 31,000 enough? Probably not.
Do we have to go over the 911 budget or?
You can.
Basically have to or not.
Is that under the sheriff as well?
Yep. Mhm. I didn't make you copy for this.
Don't let all this go to your head, Sheriff.
Yeah, yeah.
Billions of dollars.
I know.
No pressure.
I can
Pressure.
keep this one pretty simple. The only revenue that they get in is from, user fees through cellular phone, dollar phone. They get, this year they're budgeted for 104, we've gotten 102 so far. And revenue will be 136 next year. Based on,
That's just adult per phone call?
it's per phone,
Per
so
phone.
it's a user fee per cell phone. But all the cell phone providers have to write us a check, so we get checks in every month.
Oh,
For however
okay.
many lines they
Yeah,
have.
monthly charge
It's
on
$1.25
their line.
actually, and the dollar goes to the state and the 25 cents goes to us, or the other way around.
Something like that.
Oh, it's the other way around. And that's basically what, funds 911, they do not levy. I don't think they levy. No, they don't.
There.
They don't levy. And then, I didn't make a copy of this one because I didn't, if we're gonna do it, with my phone. Did you make 5 copies? It's just, you can do them not double-sided, it just takes one. Um, increases this year on this one are gonna be training from 6,000 to 8,000 and medical drug testing. The new line item. Their budget to $1,400 at pays for psychological testing for new employees.
So we do the psych evals for detention and patrol, but we've never done them for dispatch. And I think it's just probably a good practice to start doing that.
Maybe if you do what before and after to see what we're doing to those poor people.
After wouldn't be so good.
After they've been there a while.
They say it's like 3 years. For now.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of turnover in there and a lot of training there for and stuff, so. Really, the only 2 big changes on there other than the 5% and the only salary we have on that is for Katie. Thank you, guys. Just wanted to show you that. And that was again 5% and then benefit. Is what it is. Telephone maintenance, we added in there, we didn't have that before. Blood testing is the other one that we just talked about, RMS maintenance went up, which we knew that it would too. And that's it.
Pretty straightforward.
If we were to change any of the line items to want to make them easier to understand what comes out of them, what do you
So
do?
let me know, because I can change them for each fund.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Even though like office supplies is all 440 in all departments, it doesn't have to stay that, it could be something different by fund. We try to keep them all the same, so that if we don't know how many office supplies were purchased, we can just run them through that fund, and it'll tell us every department how much they
Okay.
spent. But they're not always the same exact thing,
Right.
because of that.
When you look at them individually, they make sense. When you add them all up, that's like $670,000 in new monies we gotta come up with. Just
Your bottom line on the 911 emergency is no, I didn't print that one. I put it in separate. Never mind. If I would have printed that, you can, 19, I mean, where's I printed that out? I didn't, I printed individual. So I can print you a new one after I make the change. That will be all of 19 together, and it will give you the total for all of Fund 19, which is the amount we levied by.
Okay.
You can see what the impact was for all four of them.
Actually thought I saw that on
You
the,
probably did on that one,
on the public
but I'm not
defense.
confident that's accurate.
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
sure why they didn't print that way.
Okay.
The sheriff, I'm going on the record saying, I think you're doing a good job trying to balance all this. I'm just sweating the result, which is not your fault. The increase in crime is just costing this county a fortune. You're not asking for more money for travel and silly stuff. You're asking for what it costs to cover the increase in crime. That's discouraging to the average taxpayer, I think. But thank you for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions on 911? No. That's the easiest one of them.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, well, let me open it up to questions from the public. Let me go down the list. Mr. Beaner.
Revenue sheet, this is just for the fund, it's not by the department.
It is not.
So
It's just like current expense.
This doesn't. Get to any department.
That's what well, they share all revenue. All revenue is shared, just like it was in current
No, I
expense.
understand. You know, we broke down what revenues are coming in. 911 has revenues. Everybody will have their own revenue, so you're not putting. That's all.
No other questions? Okay. Anything you'd like to add?
Just like on the revenue sheet for current expense, they were all combined in that one as well. So they were not split out
Were they split out
on
last
current
year?
expense. But if it's a jail revenue here, it's still here and it's called the exact same thing that it was on current expense.
I believe code says you have to do revenues on each department on your regular sheet.
And they are. They are.
This is fine, this isn't department.
They never are departments. In current expense, it isn't either.
I don't
It's
know
by fund.
what they're supposed to look like. I thought. They're by the.
I have those for each department. I didn't give them to everybody.
Do you have
That's what
those?
I get from.
Do you have all those?
No,
Have you requested them?
I already did my.
All right. Anything from the sheriff or the undersheriff? Anything else you'd like to?
This has been a pretty eye-opening process, to be honest. We really want to do the best that we can to make sure that we're not spending money that we don't need to spend, and that we're, being fiscally responsible with the tax-paying dollars. And we're gonna continue to try and keep tightening up the process as far as like, we really need to figure out how to make sure that the money is coming out of the proper budget and not just taking it out of a miscellaneous type of thing. So we're really working hard on that. And we did ask for that new position, which is for the front office staff, to help compensate for the workload. It's just getting too much for one person to do anymore. And we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen, and we're willing to do whatever we can to make this work. And I don't know, it's been an interesting experience for sure.
Well, you're not the
Appreciate
only, you're not the only law enforcement related budget that's had to go up to show that, the courts, the prosecutor, it's clear that there's a workload problem.
Yeah. There's
Mhm.
So I appreciate your flexibility and I appreciate you're trying to make this more transparent because like having 3 maintenance funds, that's gotta be hard for your people to even code. Like Tammy said, I think spelling those out better and relabeling things so that it's obvious to you where you want to put things. But anything you want to add?
No, that's it.
All right. Anything else, Madam Clerk? Right. I guess we'll adjourn at this